Hi guys, how's everybody been? I'm back with another illustration that I made, and this time while painting this illustration, join me as I talk about a theme that has over the years I think become very close to my heart. So I'm going to be talking today about the fitness culture that's existing in India, and feel free to chime in with your comments. I would love to know what you think about how it's evolved and what we can do better. A study published recently talked about fitness levels amongst different sections of the Indian population. It's a quite well known fact by this time that the Indian population is among those who work out the least globally. While it is fashionable nowadays to create content bashing India and Indians for a world of things ranging from our food to our civic sense and including our fitness, no one actually delves into exploring the reasons for all these different traits that we exhibit. It is a known fact that India's colonial past has had a heavy influence on the identities that contemporary Indians carry forward. A host of the problems that we see today, including unemployment, sanitation, and even other issues such as caste based oppression and gender violence, stem from the time that India spent under colonial rule. Other than the societal and identity related implications of the colonial past, there is also the health related aspect. The Bengal famine of 1943, and feel free to read up more about this, was not the result of a drought but because of the policies implemented by the colonial powers. The Nobel Prize winning economist Amartya Sen argued that in 1981 there should still have been enough supplies to feed the region, and that the mass deaths came about as a combination of wartime inflation, speculative buying, and panic hoarding, which together pushed the price of food out of the reach of poor Bengalis. The Bengal famine claimed around 3 million lives. For the average Bengali that survived, life became a question of constant survival. The impact of the famine extended beyond the tragic loss of life that it caused, leaving a lasting mark on the future generations of Bengalis. The famine impacted populations, also seen across other South Asian populations, have adapted to what is known as inherited starvation adapted traits, which are characterized by increased fat storage. This has also led to an increased risk of cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, and obesity. So, the next time you spot a Bengali with diabetes, it is not just because of the high consumption of sweets that we are known for, but also because he or she is possibly genetically predisposed to it. Coming back to modern times and the unfit India that we see today, it may be a symptom of the culture that has been ingrained into contemporary Indians. India is, among many other things, a protein deficient country. While a majority of India does consume protein, especially from non vegetarian sources, the Indian palate may not be the most balanced in the world. This may be a factor of the colonial past and the agrarian roots of the Indian economy. But a lot of the Indian plate is really very carb heavy. I am a self professed carb lover myself, but I do profess that this culture runs deep. We love our breads and potatoes, and gluten allergy is not really a thing we see. This protein deficient, carb heavy culture also seems to transmit to the kind of activities we choose to pursue fitness and the kind of appearances that are looked kindly upon. The Indian population often possesses a predilection towards cardio based activities such as running or walking, often more of walking than running, sports such as cricket or football rather than strength training. While cardio is great for heart health, muscle loss with age is well documented by scientific studies in current times. However, this kind of education seems to be missing with the older generations in India, due to which you will not see too many older generations often in the gym. The trend against fitness is set right from childhood, with greater focus always put on countless hours in classrooms, a trend which has only grown multifold over time. Children spend really very little time in the playground. The Indian culture of putting marks obtained in exams over every other facet of the kid's life can lead to alienation of the kids from various forms of physical activity. I think this is further exacerbated by various platforms for passive consumption in recent times, which hold the child's endless attention. The benefits of time spent in the playground are well known, yet in the Indian household they are very rarely pushed for. The trend is further skewed against women. As per the recent Scroll survey, 14.5% of men in India exercised on a given day versus a mere 4.9% of women. And this is actually growth versus the previous survey. In India, where the majority of unpaid domestic responsibilities, including care and household work, fall on women, they often are unable to carve out time for themselves to take care of their own bodies. In my last 7 or so years of going to the gym regularly, I haven't seen really a lot of women in the gym, especially for the strength training sessions. Granted, out of the 7 years, five have been at an obscene hour of the day. Yet, in the last 2 years of going at the gym at a reasonable hours, I haven't really seen this trend change much. The outdated idea that strength training will turn you into a man continues till date, which has created the huge demand for workout formats such as Pilates, yoga, and the like. And while Pilates and yoga are great for flexibility and spinal mobility, they cannot unfortunately replace the benefits of progressive loading. In India, the attitude towards the appearance of women is further exacerbated by popular media and casual conversations about what is considered conventionally attractive. On top of this, in a country as diverse as India, regional ideas about health and appearance influence how people approach fitness too. For example, in Bengal, if you're eating slightly on the slimmer side, people will think that you're probably starving for food and rush to give you some. However, you may have other regions in India which continue to grapple with Eurocentric standards of beauty stemming from the colonial past, such as fair skin and an hourglass figure. India also unfortunately grapples with the issue of skinny fat. In India, where about 28% of the population is skinny fat, skinny is often mistaken for being healthy, when it may not be the case. The Indian medical system continues to rely on BMI as a measure of health despite it being widely proven as a flawed system. The issue with skinny fat is that while outwardly the person may appear to be healthy, the body composition may prove to be otherwise. I think this particular body type is also due to India's population's predilection to cardio versus strength training. In today's world where inequality keeps deepening, access to fitness is heavily influenced by also socio-economic factors, and India faces the same issue. As a lot of India modernizes and larger cities get built, the land available for things like public parks or free gyms is rapidly decreasing. This heavily limits the access to fitness for those who cannot get a gym membership with a hefty price tag. Another aspect of fitness is a nutritious diet, where quality is really paramount. In a world where fresh produce is more expensive than processed alternatives, wealth creates a barrier in gaining access to nutrition. While fitness can theoretically be available to all, economic barriers mean that the most desired and effective forms are reserved for those who can afford it. Capitalism loves framing fitness as a personal obligation, but in a world that is increasingly asking for more productivity, being able to afford time to pursue some type of exercise regimen will often come at a cost of some other aspect in your life. The ability to spend hours exercising, recovering, and preparing healthy meals is not a privilege that everyone enjoys. Many working class individuals in India juggle not just responsibilities at their one or more jobs, but also responsibilities of home with housework and care, especially more so in the case of women, which leaves very little room for gym sessions or meal prep. India as a country is still opening up to the benefits of various forms of fitness. In a country which often thought walking was the key to all health problems without worrying about muscle mass, the country is now looking at ways to include protein in the diets. If you go to a market, you will see enormous number of products talking about how much protein they include in the product that they are manufacturing. Even the staple Amul has come out with a range of products which are high protein, supposedly high protein. The Indian population, despite being inundated with never ending work hours both at home and at work, is learning to carve some time out to take care of themselves. Women, too, having realized the importance of muscle mass and bone density, especially in the old age, and how strength training can help preserve that, are making their way into the gym. These changes, however, continue to remain limited to those who have somewhat of a luxury when it comes to time and money. With a majorly unfit population, India needs to find a way to make fitness easy to achieve for everyone. Easily accessible public gyms could potentially be one solution, especially for women who would like to work out without being gawked at. Female only gyms could be a great public infrastructure to have. I think the culture of fitness also needs to be incorporated right from childhood. With the children and youth of today being increasingly glued to their mobile phones and other forms of passive consumption, having fitness led initiatives specifically aimed at these groups could not only lead to physical but also mental growth. Lastly, diet is an important component of any fitness routine, and the inclusion of protein into the Indian diet could lead to more well developed future populations. It's never too late to start on one's fitness journey, and India has the benefit of having a relatively young population. That should make the catch up on the fitness scale much quicker. Here's hoping that the small progress that we have seen in India's fitness journey over the last few years catches greater steam. That's all that I had to say on fitness today. I hope you enjoyed me rambling away about fitness, especially in the Indian context, and my own views and opinions on the matter, as well as this illustration that I worked on. Through this illustration, I am trying to showcase the hustle culture and how it is very exploitative in nature. It is maybe in some ways related to what I spoke about today, how the hustle culture leaves very little time to make time for ourselves to pursue something as simple as fitness. And especially in India, where productivity is always in high demand, the hustle culture can seem as if it is taking out more than we can give. I hope you enjoyed the illustration, and I'll see you soon again with another new video and another new topic. Thank you.